What's up, guys and gals, and welcome back to the Nerd Castle. Today in the world of indie games, we're going to be checking out a title called Worldbox. This is one of those games that I haven't really fiddled around with too much up until close to the 1.0 release here, but I was aware of it. If you've never heard of Worldbox before, this is effectively a god creation sandbox simulator where there's not a whole lot of integral mechanics to the game. So it's not very game-like. But at the same time, it's basically a tapestry, or basically like a blank palette for you to paint whatever you want on and create your own world. And then the things that you put inside of that world, they have their own mechanics, and they kind of play sort of a strategy, grand strategy RPG on the surface of whatever you're playing, and it can lead to some very, very interesting hilarity. So today we're going to play around with the game for about 25 to 30 minutes and see if it's something you wanted to add to your wish list or otherwise pass on. The game is approaching its 1.0. By the time this video goes live, it's possible it may be in its 1.0. I'm not really too sure. This is one of those games that's probably going to sit on my hard drive for a little while just because it doesn't change altogether that much over time. But aside from that, I'll have a link for you down below just in case you wanted to get in on the world creation fun for yourself. You'll also find a link to my Discord and my Twitch stream just in case you wanted to hang out live. So without further ado, let's go ahead and dive on in so we can take a look at the laws of our world. I think these are set up in such a way that, like, I kind of like what they've got going on, although I may try to turn off the biome's overgrowth because that means that the biomes will constantly be sort of at struggle with one another. We can also enable and disable the sorts of things that, yeah, we can actually have rebellions and stuff. That sounds good. We've got hunger, old age, animal spawns, peaceful monsters. I think I'm fairly happy with where our stuff is at. Yeah, I feel like things seem okay. Yeah, let's go with other disasters like invasions and things too. That might be kind of fun. So this is a world that I've created. This was actually a collection of islands, and then I kind of connected them all. Every single bit of this was created by me, except for like this little spot, and like this little spot, and this little spot, and this little spot. And so it's all kind of run up together. I haven't gotten really, really good at painting the environment just yet, but I have gotten a little bit better at it with the tools that they've got going on. Now, before we can actually, like, watch the game unfold and play, we've got to, like, create some stuff in order for the world to have a good time. Like, we got to make a place for people to exist at. And so let's start with that. Because we have like a volcanic zone over here, you can tell that we've got some kind of volcano, I guess, demon zone over on this side. I think that it would be a really cool idea to maybe have a volcano or something over here, just to sort of like imply volcanism. And so, like, let's say that we put a volcano in right there, and then, like, just a volcano in right there, and a volcano in right there. And this is gonna, like, I'm gonna take this from my geology background. This is gonna imply that there's a subduction zone right underneath here, which is where one tectonic plate slides underneath another tectonic plate. And if we can isolate that to kind of like this area, I feel like that's gonna be pretty cool. And that's gonna kind of set the tapestry for what we wanna do here. Now, what I would like to do is I would like to make some hills, just to sort of imply a mountain range that's sort of risen up over on this side that, like, the volcanoes can sit on top of. And so let's kind of like round this out a little bit, and we'll have a mountain range over here, just like a slight area where things are starting to upwell. That sounds really, really good. Now, I don't know if I can put a volcano on top of this, but I would like to put yeah, I can actually. There we go. So we'll get a couple like areas of volcanism in here, just to make it a little bit more interesting. I don't know what's going to happen with the rest of this territory. It's going to kind of like evolve on its own, but I think that's a really good start. And then we can sort of have a mountain range that goes on top of this little hilly zone right here, and we'll just kind of have it spread out and do its thing. We'll have it creep towards the side over there. We'll have it sort of creep upwards right there. We'll round it out a little bit on this side. That looks good. And then let me see one more time if I can put a volcano like on top of it. I can. Okay, so we'll put some nice craggy volcanoes just sort of in that area. I've got the game paused right now so that I have like full control over everything that happens, but that doesn't mean that things aren't going to change sort of over time. Now, the other thing that we could possibly do is I think this is the infernal biome right here. That's what it looks like to me anyways. And so we'll just kind of like expand out the infernal biome, and we'll let the infernal biome just kind of exist along the edges of this mountain range. That sounds like a really, really sweet plan to me. I think the other thing that we could do is we have it kind of run down this way, Yeah, and just have it kind of be lava'd out a little bit. And we'll just sort of see what transpires as this area grows and develops. There we go. And then, like, on this other side of the mountain, I do think that we should kind of, like, decide what we want to do. There's no real, like, desert or anything that we can put over here, or, like, a Badlands biome, but we can kind of sprinkle some rocks around just to make it sort of seem like, you know, a little bit more natural, I guess. There we go. And so we'll have that just kind of be where it's at, and we'll see what happens with this side. Now, for our landmass, if we have a subduction zone right here, and the subduction zone is one plate going underneath another plate, the friction in the salt water is actually lowering. It's called volatiles. It's lowering the melting point of the stone that's subducting due to the sodium and whatnot that's being taken down with the ocean water in the stone. And so this lava is it trickling upwards through sort of like the sediments and whatnot, and that's how you end up with volcanoes in those areas. But what can also sort of happen is you can end up with sort of like inland mountain ranges where the landmass is too thick, so when it comes up, it doesn't actually come together as like volcanoes. It'll just be a mountain range. And so it would make sense if we have kind of a barrier mountain range right here on this side. So that's what I'm going to do. We'll kind of go in and we'll have a big, beefy mountain range right here. And we'll make this look a little bit more natural in just a second. But a barrier mountain range right there, I think is going to look really, really good. Okay, so there's our barrier mountain range right there that we've kind of hacked together. We're not going to have any volcanism on this side. We're just going to kind of have it like be where it's at, although maybe one volcano might be a good idea. Let's put one volcano over here. We'll put one singular volcano right there at the center of it. That's going to be like our Krakatoa. That's going to be like our mountain that's like a constant misery to everyone around it. It's going to occasionally spew stuff all over the place and sort of change the way that things play out. Now, what will also happen is that on this side right here, what we can do is this is more than likely going to be sort of like fertile grassland right here. That's more than likely what would happen with this, because what tends to happen is as clouds come in from like the west over the greater landmass, these mountains right here are going to create updrafts that are going to force the clouds up into the air, and they dump all their payload on this side right here. But by the time they pass over to the other side, they're going to be depleted, and that means that we're going to end up with like a savanna biome over here. They don't have a desert. I'd put a desert over here. But that means we should end up with kind of a savanna or like a drier grassland biome over here that gets a lot less rainfall. And so we'll put that over there real fast, and we'll just kind of divide that up. I like it. It looks good. It looks solid. I'm really, really happy with that. Okay. And like, what if inside this savanna biome, there was maybe a tribe that lived over here? That sounds like a pretty fun plan to me. It's next to the mountains. So I would say that there's a pretty good chance that we could have dwarves sort of living right here. So we'll put like a little tribe of dwarves right there. On this side, I think it'd be kind of cool to have some orcs. So that's what I'm going to do, and we'll just kind of see how it unfolds as time goes along. Now, we need to fertilize these areas and actually make them look nice and habitable, and we do that with the fertilizer. And so we can just kind of sprinkle that around, and it'll make these look a little more populated. We'll sprinkle a couple trees around just to make it look a little bit more natural. We'll give them some trees over here, too, in this kind of foresty area. Now, as the clouds go around here, I'd like to think that we could end up with a forest biome over here. That's what I'm thinking, is it would be kind of cool to have a forest over on this side that just sort of flanks this area. And so that's what I'm going to pull in real fast, is we'll just kind of have a little forest right here. There we go. That looks solid to me. At some point, I am going to... I just messed up my topography, my carefully laid topography with my much too large size painter. There we go. We'll just kind of go carefully around the edges right here. Perfect. There we go. That looks all right. And so this is going to be our little foresty area. I think that sounds like a really good plan. Let's put in some... we'll do some plants fertilizers around here. So now that we've got our foresty area, it's going to need to grow. And in fact, it might have been a bad plan for me to drop in the people that I dropped in before we got done there. But we are going to need some plants up inside our little savanna too. So let's make it kind of look like a grassland. I need a bigger painter for this. I need a much larger painter. There we go. So now we've got our savanna grassland over on this side. Perfect. And then, like, where would we be without some trees in the savanna? Let's go ahead and we'll just kind of sprinkle in a tree or two. Not too much. We want it to be somewhat sparse in the savanna, but I think that looks pretty good right there. This forest biome is going to grow in all by its lonesome, so don't worry about that. Over here, it looks like we have like an enchanted zone. That's what it looks like to me anyways. And so like maybe we put in like a little bit of an enchanted zone over here. That kind of sounds like fun. Yeah, let's use the enchanted painter. And we'll just kind of make a little enchanted connector over here that kind of goes up and around that way. And we'll just have it kind of like jut out a little bit, make it look a little bit more natural. There we go. Cool. So we've got like an enchanted forest over here. That sounds like a sweet plan. Wow, we've got a lot of landmass to figure on in. Well, then maybe we'll expand this out and we'll have like an enchanted coast on this side. That sounds like a sweet plan. Yeah, enchanted coast. Why not? So we'll have the enchanted coast go all the way up, and that now looks like it is very much filled in. I'm happy with it. We've got a couple natural sort of crenellations and castellations with how this is going down here, and I like that. I like it when it all kind of blends together naturally. And then since we've got the forest zone over here, let's have this attach all the way up and around. There we go. That looks good. Yeah, I think I can live with that. Perfect. And then what we'll have this do is we'll actually kind of have like, let's maybe have a little swamp down here. Might be kind of cool. Yeah, swamp it up. Let's swamp it out a little bit. We'll have like a little swampland thing going on down here. I don't think any of the cultures can actually build in the swamp while I'm on the subject, but it would be nice to have a swamp over here. So there's our swamp. All right, and as you can see, it's already cropping up with swamp plants and things of that nature. I'm going to go ahead and fertilize the enchanted area real fast. We also need to kind of fertilize the forest. And we'll just kind of like sprinkle this over here like a salt shaker. There we go. And then we'll kind of take this. I'm going to go to this painter right here. Okay, that might be a little bit too much of, that might be a little bit too grand. I might be a little optimistic about my painting right now. There we go. And so we'll just make a couple like little groves and outcrops over on this side. And I actually kind of like the way that this is coming together. We'll make a little foresty area over here. We've got like little trees growing. Until this all fills in, we can't really do much with it. So I wouldn't stress about it too much. And then maybe we'll have the grassland just kind of extend over this way. Seems like an okay plan to me. Perfect. So now that's all in, and it's looking pretty good. As far as our cultures go, it looks like the dwarves are beginning to build something over here in the brief amount of time that I spent letting the game run. Like, I'm trying to get things sort of like sorted out right now before we actually let this thing run. We can have a jungle over here. Yeah, jungle might be kind of cool. Let's put a jungle over on this side. I'm not exactly sure that the actual geography of the whole thing works, but like, you know, let's try to have a little bit of like every biome maybe. There we go. Just kind of let that fill in right there. And then we'll kind of just get a little bit of plant life going on. We'll put most of the trees out this way. There we go. And then this will just kind of lead in. Perfect. I like the way that looks. You've got kind of like an open little area before you get to the rainforest, and then you got the rainforest proper. That leaves us with this little area up here. I think we should have a corruption zone up here. That's what I think. I don't know exactly what's going to happen with the corruption zone, but I'm interested in finding out. It's actually a biome that I haven't played with much. So we'll go corruption biome over here. Yeah. And then next to the corruption biome, maybe we'll have like a little bit of a mushroom biome. Yeah, mushroom biome sounds fun. A little of this, a little of that. And this is kind of like the appealing thing about this game is that you get to play around and you get to like do creation and then you get to kind of populate it with stuff and just sort of see what happens. So we'll put a couple of trees over here. Mushroom biome looking good. Okay, so our landmass is looking pretty rockin' right now. It's looking pretty good. I'm actually fairly happy with it. It looks like the forest biome is beginning to spread over on this side. I think I can change the laws around so biome's overgrowth grass will grow by itself. Yeah, that might make it actually look a little bit more natural. We'll let the grass grow by itself because the forest and the savanna are about to run into each other. So we'll see how much territory the orcs end up living with. It looks like the dwarves are over here and they're creating something. This area right here is just a hot volcanic mess. I actually did not expect the volcanoes to really create that much of a craggy destruction. We may actually want to stop that from happening. They're throwing nonsense all over the place. Yeah. It's doing all kinds of crazy stuff over there. So these little guys are going to need stuff to survive. You can actually click on each of these villagers, and every single one of them has like a skill sheet, and they will have things that they are into. You can also take a look at their kingdom. Their kingdom will have various attributes and things that have all been kind of like unlocked as they go along. There is a spot where we can look and we can see what technologies that they've unlocked, like where they are at in their development process. So they are in the process of learning something right now, but we don't know exactly what it is. But they're going to need more things in order to make this all function. And so what I would do is I would kind of like, yeah, we can put like a rock or two just sort of here and there about the area of the mountain. Just sort of put a rock here, put a rock there. Yeah, that seems all right. And then we'll have like some ore that maybe they can find and discover at some point. Yeah, a little bit of ore here, a little bit of ore there. We'll have a little bit of gold just kind of like in one or two areas that maybe they can get after. You can't really build anything on top of like the high mountainous areas, but we'll put a little bit of this, a little bit of that around just to make it seem kind of nice. There we go. We'll kind of just drop some rocks around, just the rare occasional lithic source in the savannah. Very, very rare rocks over there in the Enchanted Zone. Maybe one or two over there inside the Jungle Zone. But we've got other cultures that we can deploy. I'm going to wait for the forest. Actually, I don't think we have to wait. Let's put some elves down here in the forest. There you go. We have elves that now live in the forest, and what you'll see is they'll start chopping down trees and doing stuff. Animal life should start to thrive all by its lonesome if we let the game run for a little while. The time scale is listed right here, so it's been 5 years since we started this map. Oh, it looks like the actual savannah itself is burning down. Okay, fair enough. And we don't really have any tributaries, do we? So I think we should go with like a little bit of shallow water. And we should start making like some rivers and things that sort of open up in these areas. So we'll have like a little tributary that kind of runs this way and down over to here. And then it'll end up in just kind of a lake on this side. And let's see how that develops. So we've got very shallow water right there. And it's starting to flow in from the ocean. Good. You love to see it. Yeah, we'll have a lake over here. That sounds fantastic, actually. Let's have a little bit of a lake. I think we can have close ocean. Yeah, we don't really want ocean. We just wanted like a little bit of water. And then maybe we'll have like a little trickle that sort of just comes down this way. And we'll have it branch off a little bit. And we'll have it kind of come down here. A little bit of that. We'll take the pointer down a little bit smaller. And we'll have it sort of peter out in each direction. There we go. Yeah, that looks good. We'll have a little leg that goes off that way, a little leg that goes off that way. We'll have it kind of like dendrite out effectively. And we'll actually want to have a few of those. As the water finds its own level, what you're looking for is that the water will settle in these little areas. And so we'll just have the water settle a little bit as it moves down this lazy little river right here. Yeah, that sounds okay. Just make it look a little bit more natural. A little bit right there. A little bit right there. Just kind of get our hydrology developed. Little branching path right there. There we go. Looks good. I like it. I think we could use like one more little just kind of finger over here. And then I think that our water mass looks pretty solid. I mean, ideally what we would have is we would have snow melt off coming from the mountains too. This is all burning down, and I think we're going to have to save the orcs' lives here with our god powers. I don't think we're going to have any way around it. So let's go ahead and let's just kind of hit this with some rainfall right here. There we go. We're gonna save the orcs from an impending wildfire doom. That's what we're going to do, because they haven't even really had time to, like, grow up and become mature as a race yet, and they're already almost dying to just, like, random fire. And that's no fun. We got one little orc over here. He's kind of doing his thing. Where are the rest of the little orcs at? Is he all by his lonesome? What happened? Did the other orcs burn to death? Oh, no, dude. Did I let all the orcs die? The orcs did. Oh, no, they split in half. So one of them died. And then two of them broke off to make their own kingdom. And where they have gone, I don't know. It looks like they actually broke off and they came northwards. They didn't like the biome very much. And this right here is what becomes appealing about the game, is that unpredictable stuff happens. Like, you never quite know the way that the game is going to play out once you actually introduce, like, the fantasy races to it. Now, the real question is, where do we want to plant humanity? We need to put humanity around here somewhere. I think we have room over kind of like down this way to maybe let humanity do their thing. So let's do that. Let's put humans down on in here. Humans can maybe settle. They're kind of close to the elves on that side. Then again, strong possibility we could put them out on kind of one of these little areas too. Yeah, let's start the humans off just sort of... There you go. The humans live in an enchanted forest. We'll give them... They already have a rock. Never mind. We probably should put some berry bushes or something around. That might be an okay idea. Let's kind of populate some of these other little areas where it's kind of fertile and nice. We'll sort of give them, like, some food, basically. Some food resources. That seems like a good start. It looks like the lava is actually flowing, and this is going to start, like, taking over everything. Maybe I overdid it, though. It feels possible that I kind of overdid this over here with the volcanoes. Okay, so I fixed our volcano problem. I may leave, like, one volcano over here. Oh, there's some kind of little creatures that have spawned over on this side. What are they? Let's drop that from our clicker. We've got a bone over here. It's 4 years old and it hasn't killed anybody yet. Good for you, man. Making it to the ripe old age of 4 without committing murder, it's a large challenge that I think some people struggle with. Let's give them a few extra friends in these little orc tribes out here. We'll just kind of deploy them because I don't know without 2 orcs. Oh, the humans and the orcs are fighting Nathan. I didn't think they would find each other so quickly, but apparently they've already, like, butchered each other. Are the humans already gone? Is that, like, the first thing the humans did was just bum rush the orcs? I think they did. I think that's exactly what they did. The forest grew in, so we can actually populate this right here with, like, some trees and stuff. So let's go ahead and do just that. There we go. Let's make the forest a little bit nicer. We don't want any savanna seeds, but for a forest, we want it to be quite foresty over here. Yes, very, very foresty. Perfect. Okay. Well, maybe we deploy the humans a little bit further south this time so that they don't die horribly. I don't know. Let's give them a few of the things that they need, though, so that they, like, stay down here. I don't need maybe that many rocks. Just like 1 or 2 will probably do it. There we go. The human kingdom has been established. Oh, well, 1 human survived the conflict with the orcs, who are now casually beating a dog or a cat or something to death over there. I don't know exactly what they're doing, but they seem to be up to something. But there's our completed world with all of our kingdoms doing their thing. I think there is also, like, another layer that we can turn on. Yeah, there we go. And each of these places will actually have their own culture that develops as well. Like, their technologies may go in different directions as the game goes down. Like, they will have different stuff. And so these guys over here, it looks like they really don't have a whole lot going on. But we can leave that labeled right there. So they have 1 guy. They have 9 guys. The dwarves are doing pretty well. The orcs are expanding up in the northeast. It looks like these guys over here, who are you? These are also orcs, and so they're up to like 3 people. We'll just kind of see what they do. It looks like the elves have gotten together and they've built a couple of little huts down here. I think it'd be a cool idea. So if we have areas that do not have anybody in them, what if there was kind of a threat rising in the west? So let's say for a moment, perhaps, that we have... What do we want to have over here? Let's say that there's a necromancer that's beginning to gather power over in the west, right next to the corrupted lands. And what if we consider maybe there's a zombie or 2 out in the corrupted swamps? And like maybe a skeleton or 3. There we go. We just kind of let them do their thing out there. I don't know if the necromancer's actually going to take advantage of that, but it's possible that they might. We've also got a druid. What if a druid lived in the mushroom biome? I think that's also an interesting idea. So there you go. A druid lives in the mushroom biome. And this is now the druid's territory. I don't know who the druid's going to be hostile towards or what the druid's ultimate goals will be, but we'll find out. Let's maybe put an evil mage around here somewhere too. Like, let's say that an evil mage cruises along and maybe settles... I don't know. Right there. And we'll just see what the evil mage does with his time. It looks like for now he's going to tootle around and just kind of like hang out and not really... Oh, he's headed south. Maybe he'll find his way into the orc village of Uzduz. Possible. Or he may just dither around on this side. But we'll wait and see what they run into. We have a tumor over on this side, or a super pumpkin, or a biomass. Okay. Maybe we'll put in a beehive over here next to where the humans live. Yeah, a beehive or two, just to kind of pollinate flowers in some of the nicer areas. You can have a beehive out here in the savannah. Little beehive right there, beehive right there. Good. That'll make sure that the plants continue to spread. Ooh, we can have a dragon. How big is a dragon, I wonder? Okay, well, we'll think about doing the dragon a little bit later, but for right now, we'll kind of let them do their thing. We could also put some demons around. Like, what if we had, like, a demon or two over here? Yeah, there we go. Let's have a demon live in the Firelands. That sounds sick. Ah, the dwarves have selected a king. So they've picked one. What's going on with their king? His name is Han Sor. He likes tea. He's not very intelligent. He's not very good at diplomacy, but he is good at fighting, so chances are he might be a little bit military inclined. Over on this side, it looks like they've researched houses tier 1. I have no idea what they're researching right now, but they don't have any rare knowledges. What are the elves up to? Like, what have they discovered thus far within the realm? I mean, they're populating like crazy, so there's lots and lots of elves around. It looks like they've got like a tier 1 house going on. They need stone, from what I recall, to go up to tier 2. But I'm not so specifically sure how that's going to play out. I think this human over here could use another human. He looks kind of lonely. So let's give him another human. These guys have already grown up to a colony of 10. That's really kind of humanity's hallmark in this game, is that they grow very, very rapidly. Like, they have big population. They've already got stone, so I kind of wonder if anybody has actually gone after that stone just yet. No, they haven't even figured out how to make basic huts yet, so I think they're developing just kind of in the course of time. I'm going to let it run for a little bit, and if anything interesting happens, we'll come back and check it out. Quick checkup, things are developing. The dwarves over here are up to 30 population right now, and they're actually mining ore. If we look at their technological advancement, they've figured out how to convert other cultures to their cause. If we go down to the elves and we check in on them, we can see that they have made it so that their culture spreads faster and is more likely to infect other areas, and it looks like they're researching how to chop down trees right now and use them as a resource. With the humans over here in Shanks, it looks like they figured out how to make houses, and then they are working on some kind of culture spread right now. But as you can see, they all kind of play their own sort of strategy game on the surface of the planet, and you can sort of like intervene and mess with that because you're a god after all. And what are all these creations but, you know, your playthings? These orcs over here, what are they doing right now? Are they doing anything interesting? They're working on culture spread? Okay. These guys over here I haven't checked in on at all. It looks like they're mostly focusing on cultural things as well. That looks like somebody burned down a house over here. Oh, the Druid might be attacking them. The Druid is indeed attacking them right now. So the Druid has become angry with their rapid expansionism and their chopping down of the trees. As you can see, they've been slowly converting this area into like a... Oh, they killed the king. Interesting. Well, now there's nobody to rally their forces. So what the kings can do is once they get to a certain level of technological advancement, they will start to rally armies and kind of deal with threats and problems, and they will declare war on other people, and they will march with like big armies of like 40 and 50 guys to go attack and burn down other subjects. Ooh, one elf down here was not happy with the rule of the elven king and has moved down to become a swamp elf. An interesting split in the cultural timeline. It does look like these guys are about to come into contact with the elves, who actually have them kind of outgunned at the moment. It looks like they're farming right now. So things are unfolding. We're about 37 years into this playthrough. It looks like our Druid is still doing Druidic stuff over here. The orcs really seem to have a problem with this Druid. They're not happy. The most interesting turn of events is that if you look down here, it looks like a number of humans that were in an adventuring party have discovered the zombies that exist over here. And the orcs have also found these zombies, and the dwarves have also found the undead and zombies over here, and have made it kind of their personal mission over the last couple years or so to wipe out all the zombies that exist in this territory. The interesting thing is, they can't ever quite seem to get done with the zombie problem because they keep getting bit while fighting the zombies. And so as you can see, the world population is actually kind of like dithering because of this. They keep sending war parties out to deal with zombies, but everybody keeps getting bit. And so they keep coming back as zombies, and then it's just a vicious cycle. You fight the zombies, become the zombies, get killed by humans, turn them into zombies. And so it seems to just be like this never-ending rotation over here of people being converted into zombies. The orcs are constantly fighting with this druid. They just can't seem to get their population up, and it's stifling sort of their efforts. It's not really affecting the dwarves altogether that much. They seem to be just exploding in their proclivities. They're researching technologies. It looks like they're learning to make weapons and swords right now. I haven't checked in on the elves for a while, but they seem to be thriving pretty well too, just because, they've already discovered swords. And it looks like they're researching something else related to swords as well. Although it doesn't explicitly tell you exactly what it is. That kind of comes with experience and playing the game. The humans over here are researching swords now, so I've got a feeling things are about to get interesting. People are researching weapons, and they all share borders, and they seem to be very, very interested in the martial professions. So we'll give it a few more years, but I've got a feeling that the first Great War is nearly upon us. Well, things have happened. Unfortunately, the colony of Ez-Uz, one of their heroes, came back zombie-infected and has now begun infecting the entire village. So their population took a hit right there, although it seems to me like they managed to actually defeat... Oh, no, never mind. There's another one right there. A couple more people are infected. Well, I thought they beat the undead menace, but... the war against the undead continues in this territory. There are ghosts everywhere. They are causing problems. If people die in the corrupted lands, they become a ghost, but the druid has taken it upon herself to fix that problem. Meanwhile, the necromancer actually seems to be pretty happy in his little sandals resort over here. He hasn't done anything. So as it turns out, if you drop a necromancer into his own personal tropical paradise, he kind of loses the desire to wipe out humanity. He's just kind of hanging out over here. I do wish that some of these little characters over here would build spires and like wizard towers and things like that. Just kind of carve out their own little corner of the map, which then their little minions would defend and whatnot. Like, I would love to see stuff like that implemented on into the game, because what they've got here is actually fairly organic and actually really, really fun to watch unfold. I found myself a lot over the last couple days booting it up about an hour before I go to bed every single night, and just sort of watching a map play out and just kind of cataloging the things that are happening around the map and just sort of taking interest in them. There's other things you can do as a god to sort of like make them advance faster. I have an ability that can anoint one of these guys as like a hero or like a champion and turn them into like a really overpowered guy. This dude now has a marshal. That's what this little shield guy is right here. He's like the leader of their military. And so he'll actually like rally forces. As you can see right here, he's got a couple little soldiers following him around. Over time, this army will grow and he'll like draft from the community basically. And eventually they will use that army in order to enact their will on others. It's only a matter of time before that occurs. In a distant, also interesting things are happening over here. Like, they're not fighting each other. The orcs and the humans seem to be getting along. They've come up with some sort of federation to fight back against the darkness over on this side, and there haven't been any major outbreaks of war. Like, everybody seems to kind of be getting along and living amongst each other. This is the polar opposite of my last map, where within like 20 years they had already declared war on each other. They were already exterminating each other all across the map, and so I think the civilizations kind of have different personalities each time they get deployed, or each time they're established, and from there, the necromancer, no, they're fighting, the necromancer's fighting with the druid, and the orcs are jumping in on it right now. They're trying to third party the druid. I think there's a good chance the necromancer's gonna win, though. It looks like the old druid over here is getting pelted pretty good right now with projectiles. Yeah, from all the skeletors and whatnot. Population took a little dip right there by like 40 and then bounced back up. The dwarves are spreading like wildfire. I think that's where things are going to kind of get wild and crazy. So we've got our first war over here. Ka has declared on pretty much everybody. We'll see how that plays out. It looks like they're already starting basic skirmishes over here. They're about to lose their king. I don't know why they put their king on the front lines. They must not have liked him very much. Oh, the orcs are striking back, though. Yeah, you can see them flooding down in here. I don't know who's going to win this fight. I don't know who's more technologically advantaged. The orcs don't have swords yet, so that may actually affect things a little bit. But they do have marshaling, it looks like. Yeah, I think the blue guys are going to have a... Oh, never mind. The blue guys just hadn't deployed their army yet. There we go. Now blue's in the fray, but purple's trying to jump in too. Basically, they're having a massive battle along the border. Oh, they do have weapons, but it looks like... I can't decide... It looks like blue is sweeping them right now. They've got the defender's advantage. The only thing that's kind of a bummer is I've never seen them build walls or, like, try to boundary their territories as of yet. It would be super cool if they started building castles with sort of, you know, procedural walls around it that they defend and fire arrows at each other and things of that nature. It seems to be mostly open land combat, but I'll be honest with you, I haven't dumped like an absurd amount of... Oh, red is invading now. Yeah, I was going to say, I thought we were kind of moving towards our first Great World War. It sort of felt like it was going in that direction, and I think actually the dwarves have a very high population and a very large army, so I think they have a solid chance to really... Oh, somebody was zombie infected. Oh, no. This might actually be a cataclysmic, like, end-of-the-world type situation. This many zombies, it's going to be really, really hard for them to fix that. Like, it sincerely is. Like, I don't think anybody on the map has a population advantage that's large enough to eliminate a zombie horde of this side this early in the game. Oh, their kingdom was destroyed. They've been scattered to the wind, so Degaraz is gone. Oh, what's going on over here? Oh, they declared war on their neighbors. It was a short-lived peace. But they've been wiped out. They've been obliterated. I don't think they even really exist anymore. Meanwhile, Shanks is just kind of sitting down here biding their time, expanding wildly. Did they all have zombie virus? They do. They all have zombie virus. Oh, no. Yeah, eat some berries. Maybe that'll help with the zombie virus. They're coming back home. Oh, no. This could get bad for the dwarves. This could be a major setback if this zombie virus situation gets out of hand. Yeah, these guys are all degrading with their health right now because of their zombie virus. I could cure them if I wanted to intervene. I do have the power. I can do it. Like, I can just go like this right here and just zoop. I can heal all these guys if I want to. But then again, it's kind of interesting to see this play out. Yeah, the first zombie is spawned. The dwarves might get wiped out by the undead. They do have a really, really huge population. But I don't know if that's going to be enough. That zombie got into a house. Oh, no. Okay, so, like, the war apparently ended up with both of these cultures being highly infected by zombies. The orcs are kind of chewing on the human boundaries down here. There's one random dwarf just kind of hitting things with a meat cleaver. I don't know exactly what he's doing, but full-on total war chaos has occurred on our map. And that tends to happen once they start to expand. Some kingdoms are going to go, some kingdoms are going to survive. And as of right now, I think that's what's really fun about Worldbox, is that sometimes your map plays out very, very differently depending on what you decide to do. I mean, you can also modify the way things play out. And so, like, if you've got any large forests, you can kind of do things like make the trees come to life. So there you go. Now there's Ents that live in the wood. How are the elves going to deal with that problem? You can have plague breakouts happen on people. You can get mushroom epidemics, which slowly convert people into living fungus. I mean, there's all kinds of things you can do to really shake it up once your map has, like, established boundaries. Like, you can effectively deploy crises that these cultures have to deal with just to entertain yourself, just because you are just a giant douchebag of a god. So anyways, my name is Splattercat. I sift through the pile that finds worthwhile in the world of indie games every single day so that you don't have to. Today we were checking out Worldbox. Tomorrow we'll be checking out something else. I was kind of on the fence about this game. Like, my first impressions were like, this seems kind of pointless. But then, like, once I started playing with it more, it kind of grew on me. And so I figured I would show it to all of you guys. Thank you for stopping on in. I'll catch you all next time. And thank you for hanging out. Bye, everybody.